the dangers of seeking after unusual experiences or unusual sensations within your Qigong practice. That is going to be the topic of this episode of Qi Life. So within our Qigong practice, it's not uncommon to experience some different things that are a bit unusual, a bit outside of our normal everyday experience. And these can range. There's a whole variety of different things that we might experience. Some of the most simple ones, I suppose, is different unusual sensations within our body or even around our body. Sensations of energy flow and qualities of our energy. Now, that energy is there all the time to a greater or lesser extent, right? It's just that, within our day-to-day life, it may not be flowing as strongly as we stimulate it to flow within a Qigong practice. And then when we stimulate that energy more strongly, it becomes more noticeable to us. Yeah. Also, we often aren't paying as much attention to it in our day-to-day life. We're paying attention to what we're trying to get done, different things that we're doing, yeah? And so we're not tuning in to those sensations of that energy. Even though they're already there, we're not paying attention to them. So within our Qigong practice, when we pay attention to the sensations, just straight away we notice more, things that we might not have otherwise noticed. And as well as that, we make the energy stronger, and so those sensations become stronger. And then further, when we work with specific types of practice, we bring through different qualities within that energy as well. Now, there's lots of other unusual things we can experience that go well beyond just sensations. I won't get into too much what those can be, but it all relates to simply allowing our energy to flow more strongly, stimulating it more strongly, and some of the things that come out of that. If we focus just on sort of sensations for now, there's a whole range of different sensations that we can feel. Some of the most common ones are heat. As we activate our energy, one aspect of energy is heat, warmth, and we often generate more heat, and so, well, our whole body can feel hotter, or maybe just our hands feel hotter. We can even feel heat, warmth circulating, moving within our body. As part of that, we may even feel heat surrounding the space around us. Pretty straightforward. Other sensations we can feel are like magnetic sensations. These are quite common. The most common place people will feel these to begin with is between their hands, as they get more energy flowing to their hands, as the nerves get more active. Wherever there's an electrical current, it creates a magnetic field, and so we get stronger nerve activation, stronger electrical currents, and we start our magnetic field gets stronger, and we can sometimes feel this between our hands or as we move. And then we might also feel it in other places around our body as well, or even moving inside our body. There's sensations of vibration that sometimes we can feel in different places within our body, either places where the energy is stored or as it moves through. Other sensations of physical movement. There's one that can be quite interesting is sometimes you can feel it's as if our breath, instead of coming and going through our nose or our mouth, that we actually breathe in and out through different places within our body, through our skin or through different tissues. Now, early on when people work with that aspect of energy flow, often it's more, well, they're imagining it happening as a way to direct their attention, like, imagine flowing the energy in and out. But there comes a certain point where you can feel it as a real tangible sensation. It's like, wow, that's pretty cool, pretty interesting. So there's lots and lots of different sensations that we might feel. And again, these are outside our normal everyday sensations. And all of these sensations are natural as part of our practice. They come naturally from the natural function of our body. Heat from cellular respiration, magnetic sensations from from the activity of the nerves and the electrical functions in the cells. Some of that vibration, literally from movement inside our body as things are moving and shifting inside and things are flowing. So they're all natural. So what then is the danger of seeking these out? Because most often the healthiest approach to working with these kind of sensations, this kind of awareness of energy that develops within our practice, is to simply observe and notice. Go, okay, I'm doing a practice and notice, and you notice, oh yeah, I can feel some heat. You notice, oh yeah, I can feel some magnetic sensation. Oh yeah, I can feel some vibration, whatever it might be. When we seek these out though, what can happen is, rather than what is natural and healthy occurring within our body, is we force our body to do something that's actually unhealthy for it. We force the energy to flow in a way that is potentially even harmful to us rather than healthy and beneficial. And this is because our mind has a real effect on our body and on our energy. Um, I think it's too common to discount the effect of our mind on our day-to-day experience in both a big scale and down to a small scale. Our mind has a big effect on what goes on within us. And within Qigong practice, within most practices, we're working with three tools: mind, body, and breath. And we use these together to tap into the energy. The role of the mind is really, really powerful. You can do the same movement, the same thing with your breath, but change what you're focusing on with your mind, and it will lead to quite a different result. And so when we use our mind and we seek after a certain sensation, our body has a tendency to create that for us, to go, well, what do I need to create that? Whether it's good for us or not. Something that it's helpful to understand about some of these sensations is, again, they're all in the right context healthy. They're all natural sensations. Often these sensations, we experience them more strongly. Well, we experience them more strongly when the energy is flowing more strongly. Often that's a good thing. We're getting a strong energy flow. It's not always a good thing. Sometimes it's not healthy to have a stronger energy flow, but often that's a good thing. We've managed to get a stronger energy flow. So cool, yeah. And in that sense, feeling the sensation more strongly is healthy, it's helpful. But there's another side to this, is that often we feel those sensations more strongly when the energy flow is restricted in some way, when it's encountering some resistance. And that's why the sensation comes through more strongly. You can think of this, a good analogy for this is a wire and an electrical current running through that wire. If the wire is big and thick and fat, the electrical current can run through really easily with almost no resistance. And there's very little change to the wire. It doesn't heat up or anything like that. The current just goes right through. Now, as that wire gets narrower, as it gets skinnier, so it's harder for the electrical current to go through, it actually heats up. And in fact, it can become bright. It can radiate light. The reason why it's doing it is yes, because there's a current, there's more energy going through it, but it's also because there's resistance. The resistance is what causes the heating and causes the light to radiate. And so we use this in, well, old style electric heaters. There'll be a wire and it'll be a relatively fine wire. So there's resistance. You put electrical current through it and it creates heat to heat up a space. It'll also glow a little bit. We also use it within old school incandescent light bulbs. Most people are using LEDs and other things now, but the old incandescent light bulbs, the way that works is there's a really fine filament that you run the electricity through, and because it's so fine, there's so much resistance, it gets really bright and you get a lot of light from it. So that unusual or strong sensation, heat, light, in the case of the electricity, is coming because of resistance. It's coming because the energy is actually not passing through very well. That's actually the same with many of the sensations that we experience within our bodies as we're doing Qigong and as we're strengthening the energy flow. Yes, strengthening the energy flow leads to more sensation of energy, but at the same time, so does more resistance. And when we manage to open up that flow more fully, often sensations that we may have felt earlier dissipate. They're not as strong. And it's not because we're not allowing the energy to flow as freely, as strongly. It's because it's not encountering as much resistance anymore. It's flowing through more freely. So if you have in mind that, hey, I need to be seeking after, chasing after this particular sensation, what's your body going to do? What's your mind going to direct your body to do? Well, it may direct it to actually reduce the flow or create resistance to the flow so that you can get the sensation you're looking for. And most of the time, that's not what you want. Most of the time, you actually want to open up that flow and let it go through freely. So the same applies to, so I've talked about heat and light, with electricity. Similar principle applies to vibration, for example. And a good analogy for this is a car driving down a road, right? And some cars aren't put together that well, or they haven't been maintained, or whatever it is, and maybe the wheels aren't aligned quite properly, and so on. And you get to a certain speed, and it will start to vibrate and wobble. It's like, cool, that's happening because you're going at a certain speed, but is it a good thing that it's vibrating? Probably not. And so if you think, hey, I need to vibrate, your body can introduce imbalances to make you vibrate, right? That's not good. You're much better to be able to go and get up to that certain speed and keep going smoothly. Let the energy pass through smoothly. Now, that's not to say that in all cases feeling vibration, feeling heat, feeling other sensations is bad. No, it's not. Again, it's healthy, natural in many situations. But there's a healthy way to allow that to occur and an unhealthy way. And again, generally just observing and allowing changes to occur naturally. And so we might experience vibration, then it might go away. That's healthy, rather than thinking like, oh, vibration, I need to always have vibration. And then we're reinforcing a pattern that may not be healthy for us. Now, look, there is another layer to this where there are certain types of practice where we're specifically aiming to generate certain types of energy, and often this is so that we can send them out and use them in some way. So common applications of that being using them for healing or using them in martial arts as well. And in this context, yes, we may, and it can be healthy, to introduce resistance so that we can generate certain type of heat, certain type of magnetism, certain type of vibration as a way to then send that energy outwards. But that's a very, very specific application. It's not just allowing the energy to flow. Most of the time, what we want is the energy to just flow freely, naturally. We may experience interesting sensations from time to time as part of that, but the net result, the end result, shouldn't be unusual sensation at all, actually. The end result is feeling healthy, feeling alive, feeling vibrant, just feeling full of life. That is true balanced energy. That's what we want ultimately. And so seeking after these unusual sensations can keep us stuck and stop us from actually progressing to our ultimate aim and guide. So hopefully that's useful for some of you. It gives you maybe some context around different sensations and your approach to how you deal with those. And again, as I've said several times, the best is normally to observe, observe with curiosity, but then also allow yourself to observe changes, allow sensations to come, to go, and you'll actually learn a lot more through that, and it will be a healthier path of development. Now, of course, some of the nuances, the nitty-gritty of this, and what you experience and understanding it, and particularly if you're getting into some of those specific applications, which generally most people shouldn't be doing straight away until they've practiced for a while, and they should be doing it with guidance to help them to understand what's going on. This is where it is helpful to have a knowledgeable and experienced teacher to help guide you through and understand how to shape your awareness, your mental approach, to different stages of your practice and also different applications of that. Because there are some times when we might specifically want to generate certain sensations of energy. But yeah, those are specific applications, not so much within our general practice. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful, interesting for some of you. I look forward to seeing you on another one soon.